What is going on? Welcome in. Happy Hour Elite 8 edition. This was not how it was supposed to work, gentlemen. We were supposed to come on here and you were supposed to be super sad, bummed out about losing and not getting to the Elite 8 for the third year in a row. And instead, y'all just put a whooping on old Iowa State start to finish. That's what it seemed like. But how y'all doing on this Saturday?
Got a game to look forward to, so I'm doing all right. Now we did get beat by about 30 this morning, but that's 5 to 7 year olds. So I will take that and the loss of my son's team's game at the expense of what we got going on.
There must be sacrifice.
There must worthwhile be sacrifice.
Yes, I'm willing to.
This
offer
is the way.
Yes, willing to offer it up.
T is giving his all for Tennessee.
That's right. Doing my part.
Oh, yep. And then to make matters worse, full blown come out of the closet Tennessee fan, Coach Evans, just to pile it on with the "I told you so," because he did. To be in fairness, he did say this Tennessee team was Elite 8 team. And Hammer, I want you to talk to it because I know you know the numbers. KenPom, net ratings, everything lined up that said Tennessee had what it takes, right? But no one really had seen it yet, hadn't closed them out. They won some big games. It's not like he didn't have a great season in the regular season, but there were some losses that happened that shouldn't have. And but the metrics play out again, and guess what? You guys are still dancing all the way to the Elite 8.
Yeah, and historically that's been the case, right? Because that's bracketologists and people in that circle that know, they read the tea leaves with what KenPom shows. And I'm a big numbers guy, and it's hard to argue that formula. And Tennessee was right on the cusp of that coming into the tournament. But I will say, for that matter, so was Peabody. The difference is Tennessee's not soft. Their style of play travels, as we saw especially against Iowa State. We saw it also against Virginia, and they just absolutely shut down Miami of Ohio and what they wanted to do. So, there's facts and science behind those numbers and those projections. Anything can happen, as we saw with Florida, right? So I think regardless of what happens in that game tomorrow, I think Rick Barnes has done an absolute masterpiece coaching with the issues that we faced, and T and I have both lamented all season long with turnovers, missed free throws, offense kind of checking out at times. For him to get this team to an Elite 8, not that they didn't have it talent-wise, but when you look at some of those statistical things that say that won't get it done in March, he's gotten it done, and these guys want to win for him. So there we go.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough it's impressive. I mean, the 4 consecutive Sweet 16, 3 consecutive Elite 8s.
There's 2 teams in college basketball that have 3 consecutive Elite 8s. You know who they are?
I know one, Tennessee.
The other is Duke.
Yeah, I mean, let's T.
And this was not an easy draw. 2 30-win teams and a 29-win team.
So I have my opinion on that one, but T, what did you think about the game last night? I was watching it. Me and Jay were watching it, and y'all had dominated pretty much the whole half. Offensive rebounds galore. And with about 1:30 left, they go up 1. And I looked at Jay and was like, it's not carbon copy of the Kentucky game, but in a game where Iowa State was getting beat the whole half, they're going to go up at halftime by by some points here because they had the ball. Y'all get a stop, you score, get another stop, you score, and you go up by one, and then come out and hold the momentum in the second half. I mean, consistently smacked around. They made a couple runs, but nothing that really threatened you throughout the entire game. What'd you see in that? Did you get nervous in that first half when you went down, or did you like the experience of this team and Gillespie and Nate Ament being aggressive to get you back in it?
The experience matters. What happened with Kentucky, both games, that kind of stuff matters. Melting down, all that. It's why I text in the group chat. I was like, I promise Hammer like me is not comfortable, won't be comfortable until the fat lady sings. But you and I were seeing it differently. We were going back and forth on the chat. And this is what I said before the game. What I like is that both Berg and Boswell have gotten more comfortable dribbling the ball, trying to set up, start a play and all that kind of stuff. And it's allowed Gillespie to play his more natural off the ball position. And so, yeah, they're not going to run it as smoothly as him, but ultimately they ended up being 10 assists and only 2 turnovers. And I think their ability and their confidence handling the ball, ISU pulled off of that pressure that they tend to do like all game against most people, and they stopped doing it. And I think it's because we showed, obviously the turnovers were an issue, but even though we had a lot of turnovers, I think we still had poise. And ultimately they pulled out of it. So Hammer and I said the mark was that 15 turnovers. If we get more than that, we'll lose. We did get more than that. But we kind of found a way to offset it by dominating on the offensive boards. And a bulk of those turnovers were early. We then settled in and then the game got flowing. So that was the big thing that I liked, and I've been liking this back little quarter of the season or so is Boswell and Berg being able to just even 2-3 plays here and there, run the point, dribble it, be confident, don't just throw it out of bounds or whatever. And I think that makes a big difference, especially against a team that pressures you the way ISU does.
Yeah, I think I was more concerned with the foul situation going into half and early start of second half than I was anything Iowa State was doing at the time, because that whistle drastically changed in the second half, and it meant, he went into the half with 2 and picked up a quick third, and I thought, man, we've got to have him on the floor. But huge shout out to Felix Okpara for the way he played. And then Jalen Carey, we had another Jalen Carey appearance last night. And if you think that dude doesn't want to win, just watch some of his reactions to some of the plays. And I think that'll tell you everything you need to know about him and where his heart is. This is just a gritty, gutty team, man. That they shoot themselves in the foot more than I think most other teams do things to stop them. But whatever happened, whatever, Kool-Aid they're drinking in this tournament, we need a double dose of it tomorrow.
Yeah. So it's funny. We were all watching the game. Linz was watching it, and she saw Jalen Carey go on that break and dunk, and she's looked at it, and then he had a couple other plays, and she's like, he doesn't really look like, like he can play, he can hoop. I was like, no, he's a little dumpy, but he's sleight of foot. He'll surprise you for sure.
Built like a linebacker.
Yeah, he is. And T, my thoughts on Berg and Boswell bringing it up and running the offense, and it ended up working because I thought Iowa State's their defensive mindset to when Okpara, like they would put Berg in a bind or they would put Boswell in a bind. It'd be late in the shot clock, and Okpara would come out to help, and then they would both run to trap Okpara at the 3-point line, 25 feet. Like, this dude isn't one. He's not going to dribble and try to get down hill on you. He's not going to shoot, and if he does, that's a win. But he was able to pass out of it or get it right back to the guard, and they were able to go and do something with it. But it slowed the pace down so much to where y'all weren't scoring with 3 or 4 seconds left on the shot clock. Now, again, it worked out. You're scoring whatever, but I was just like, I didn't think that was going to be a recipe for success. It ended up working because, like you said, they got out of it and they had to kind of adjust. But I think if you go and look at it, just seemed to slow down and the offense didn't run as well. They still did it. Tennessee still did it in the second half, but they got it, in my opinion, got it to Jacoby a lot earlier in the shot clock. Like they would let Boswell or Berg get up. But they got it to Jacoby at 15, 16 seconds in the shot clock instead of late, or they would, when Nate Ament came back late in that game, they gave it to him. And we talked about this on the show Wednesday. There was nobody on Iowa State that was going to be able to keep him from getting to his spot with being 6'10" and being more aggressive off the dribble.
No, 100% the offense is not running as smoothly with Boswell or Berg. I mean, but that's to be expected. My whole point was just that I appreciated that they could do it and that the ball just wasn't going the other way every single time the way it was the first half of the season. I mean, Berg got essentially benched for probably 5, 6, 7 straight games because, I mean, he literally picked up, he was dribbling. I forgot who this was, but he was dribbling, picked up the ball, held it for 2 seconds, and then dribbled again. So, like, Berg was a space cadet at the beginning of the season, and then he has slowly built up his confidence and built up Rick Barnes' trust in him. And then Boswell has just built up his own confidence because from what I can tell, he's always had the dribbling ability, again, to at least get it up the court, even with some pressure. And yesterday he did some little tween behind the back type stuff. So like he got that confidence in his ability. So that's all I'm saying is that not that I'm expecting it to look like if Jacoby's running the show, but just the fact that we have some people who can at least get the ball up the court, even in the face of pressure, and let Jacoby be off the ball a little bit.
Yeah, and Iowa State's were relentless with the on-ball pressure. I mean, they ran a lot of, full and three-quarter court pressures, and then they back off a little bit, and then they would run traps on our guards, and they handled it. I thought Tennessee handled it really well. Yeah, we did have a few turnovers from some errant passes and a couple mishandles, but all in all, that was the recipe, and we've talked about it on here as well. That ball pressure can break this team, but a combination of what you just said with the other guys stepping up, protecting the ball a little bit, and just the sheer dominance on the offensive glass was just such a huge piece to them being able to win. Because, again, we talked about that turnover threshold that they crossed, but when you look at the rebounding stats, that really told a story, especially the offensive rebounding. And I quite expected Iowa State to put up a little bit more of a fight in that category, but they were just defeated. Like Tennessee absolutely owned the glass in that game. Which
even in the first half, like I mean, it was like it was
they
frustrating. Like I was watching,
they had 10 more rebounds than Iowa State did in the first half.
Yeah, and it was like I was watching a Kentucky game early in the season where we got 4 dudes just staring at the ball. You had your 5-man down there trying to fight for it. Everybody else just watching, and Tennessee's just crashing to the glass. It was, I was shocked the way as physical as they played with us, and then the way they just let y'all beat them up for 80% in that game. I was surprised by, and then we all talked about it in the group chat, and it really, I think this was the thing that really jacked up Iowa State because he didn't. He didn't let the game come to him. He forced things up, and then he pretty much pouted all game. Was old 22 Milanovic or whatever, how you ever say his name. Like, y'all put that dude in handcuffs, face guarded him the whole game, and you could tell he hadn't had that kind of pressure all season because when he couldn't get his shot up and be effective on the offensive side of the ball, he was internal, as we say there, T. Like he was. Yeah, he was absolutely. I mean, he costed the Iowa State multiple possessions defensively, just kind of not being engaged, and offensively just chucking up terrible shots.
Yeah. Bishop Boswell's put that boy in therapy. He's going to have some counseling after that.
Yeah, and without Jefferson, like that, they couldn't just rely on Hainsey, or however you say that dude's last name, who had a great game. He really put the team on his back, but that wasn't going to be enough to beat Tennessee.
No, I mean, honestly, I guess I can sit here and say this now, after hoping all week that he wasn't going to play. But the way they played, I don't know that if Jefferson had played, it may have been closer. But I still don't think they would have beaten Tennessee. It would have given them obviously another body to account for on the floor. But they were just locked down, absolutely chaotic and menacing on defense.
Not without him being
Sorry.
healthy. I think if he's healthy, we're probably looking at a different result. But if he were just able to play, I don't know that he's healthy enough to tip the scales.
Yeah,
because we even saw how Amit struggled against Miami, Ohio. So
yeah, and they obviously didn't have enough without him. So if he's just out there getting cardio and pulling a defender and occasionally chucking up an open look, then it wouldn't have been enough. So. Yeah, didn't mean to imply if that was inferred that it wouldn't have mattered if he was healthy and played. Just the situation being what it was. If he had gone, was 50, 60, 75%, I don't think it would have been as much of a factor as what a lot of people, especially Iowa State fans, want to make it out to be.
Yeah, I agree. And look, and that's not our fault. Injuries are unfortunate, but you got to play who's in front of you. And you game plan for who's in front of you. So
yeah, and I told a Iowa State guy last night. I said, man, it sucks to have an injury like that this time of year. I do feel for you in that regard. And you guys still had a great season, and it was just a tough break, and that happens.
Yep.
Yeah, and I would have liked, because the other thing you didn't make them do is shoot 60% from the free throw line.
Yep.
And I would have loved to have been in the huddle on the sidelines of last night, because it got to the point where they were calling it real tight. And it really slowed the pace of the game down. The refs wanted their shine. Y'all got 10 fouls real early. But after they struggled so bad from the free throw line, and you all are putting the same dudes on the free throw line, like Rick Barnes and the staff probably got to be like, listen, they're not going to call all of them. Keep playing aggressive. If you foul them, you foul them. Like as long as you're not getting in, foul trouble. Nate Amit got in some, but really no one else got 3 early. Send them the free throw line. They're clearly in their head. It's probably our best defense right now, because, like you said, they're not going to call every single one of them, and the ones we get away with result. Yeah, but the ones we get away with result in a turnover, and then again, y'all were able to kill them in transition last night. So. I do.
Yeah, I told T when we hit that 3-minute mark, I said, we should foul them on the inbound, like literally full court press. And as soon as they inbound, just foul them, because these guys couldn't throw it in the ocean standing in a boat from the free throw line.
Yeah. And their season percentage was 67.5. Like they
weren't great coming in.
They are heinous as a team from the free throw line anyway. But yeah, yesterday, I mean, even the announcers, who's kind of seemed like they were pulling for them anyway, but even the announcers were like fed up with it. They were just like, they were sick of it.
Was it Van Gundy on the call for y'all last night?
No.
Was that the game before?
I don't know if he was the game before or the game at the same time, but
okay.
I think
it might have been what it was. Yeah, it might have been what it was. I know I heard him. I like listening to Van Gundy call games.
Same. And
he don't care. He's not employed by this team long term. He does not care.
He's made his money. He doesn't care who he offends.
Yeah,
I'm here for a good time, not a long time.
That's right.
He's gonna keep it real.
So before we get into Michigan, you mentioned the draw. Like we talked about beforehand, and I'm not talking this. I'm not talking shit, because Kentucky's on the same side of the bracket. We played different teams, but we were on the same side, and we played a team that was also without Jefferson. But you play Miami, Ohio, which we all thought was they deserve to be in the tournament, but nothing about them really scared you. They're a system team. Y'all were able to think you could figure that out. I don't think they get past maybe a few teams that they could have played as that 10 seed there, or 11 seed, whatever they were. And then you play. I think the toughest team you played was just to get out of the first weekend, and from there, without Jefferson, Iowa State, the way that you guys have been playing all year, and you're getting the best Boswell at the time, I think this was probably the best draw you could have gotten to get here. Do you disagree with that?
Yes.
What do you think? Who would you have rather have played to get here, or you think it would have been easier? Now, Michigan's going to be tough, but I just look at some of these other 2 seeds. Maybe, I mean, I guess you could say we would smack Purdue around pretty good, but they have a healthy roster right now, and they have multiple dudes you'd have to focus on, not just one guy. But yeah, curious to hear your take on that one.
Well, it's like I said initially, is Tennessee's beaten 2 30-win teams and then a 29-win team to get to this spot. And I don't know what the stat was, but I think that's been done, or it's only been done a couple times. Iowa clearly had the roughest path because of their seeding. They ended up having to, win an 8-9 game, which is always a coin flip. And then they had to run into a Florida team that nobody expected to get sent home. And then they have to turn around and beat one of the hottest teams coming into the tournament in Nebraska. So they by far had, of anybody that's left, they had the toughest road to the Elite Eight. But yeah, Miami of Ohio, we all thought that they probably weren't going to be as tough of a matchup and as difficult once they played a team with a defensive pulse and not playing at home. And that kind of turned out to be the case. But Virginia's a little different story. And granted, yes, the ACC is down this year, not the typical dominant conference that it has been, but they play a pretty similar style to what Tennessee does. And they had to really fight and claw to get through that. And then we went through a 3 seed and a 2 seed. So who has had a more difficult and beaten higher seeds other than Iowa than Tennessee? I didn't seed them.
Yeah, I mean, the seed is what it is. I just, the way it played out, I think this was.
Yeah, but we all agreed, and I say we all, I'm including bracketologists and a lot of people in the sports basketball, college basketball world, all said they felt like the committee got it right, even down to the last 4 in and the first 4 out with the play-in games. Everybody agreed, yeah, the committee did a great job. So we can't sit here now and say, oh, well, but Michigan, oh, well, but Miami, oh, well, but Virginia, oh, well, but Iowa State. No, that's not going to work. Tennessee beat a play-in team, yes. Then they beat the 3 seed and the 2 seed in their bracket. Other than Iowa, nobody else has done that. So either the committee got it right and Tennessee has exceeded expectations and done a great job of carving their way to the Elite Eight, or we were wrong about the committee and these guys suck. We can't have it both ways.
No, I don't think that what I'm not getting at is the committee got it wrong. I'm curious if the 3 seed in Virginia that all I'm getting at is like the side of the draw that you got. I think that was your best path to get to where you're at. You still had to beat good teams. I'm not getting that, but you played Virginia as a 3 seed, Gonzaga as a 3 seed. I get the way y'all been playing. I could see y'all beating them.
Yeah.
Now Texas beat them, so I would, yes. Let's say you're on that side of Gonzaga.
We beat Texas, so.
And then you would have to play Purdue. So I think that's even. Houston, I think, would have been tougher.
We beat
Your
Houston in the regular season.
Okay, Illinois as a 3 seed to get to where you're at. I think that's tough.
Yeah, and clearly Illinois, of course, not having to play Florida was a huge benefit, but they made it. They punched their ticket. So yeah, that would definitely been a tough game.
And on the UConn Michigan State side of things, again, to get to Elite Eight, Final Four, you got to beat good teams. When it comes to Virginia, you were able to out physical them. Like they're more of a finesse team. They're a big, they got one Onienso and down low. He's a shot blocker, but again,
I think anybody could make the argument based on the seeding in the East bracket that they had a favorable draw, because that East bracket was murderer's row.
Yeah, and then again, Iowa State without Jefferson smacked us around, but then you go out there and punish them and able to focus. And now we'll see how it gets against Michigan. But I wasn't not discrediting or discounting Tennessee's run. I just think if you look at it the way it panned out, a few years back when we lost to Golke in Oakland, like that first game looked like it was going to be cake, and then the rest of the draw looked kind of tough. And the next NC State knocks off, and that's who we would have had to play. And then you have a 10-11 seed advance. So with the side of the bracket that you think is murderer's row, it could potentially be that, or you could have some upsets, and the Cinderella can strike midnight, and you have an easier path to that. Now, again, I don't think I'm not saying that's what happened to Tennessee, but the teams you played and could match up with Virginia, and then again with Iowa State being smaller and getting to the offensive glass, I think those matchups play directly into your strengths, I guess is what the best way for me to say it.
Yeah, they absolutely did. The matchup was favorable, but a 6 seed having to beat a 3 and a 2 to get to the opportunity to play a 1 to get to the Final Four. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you play. That's not an easy road. That's all I'm saying. And I know you and I talk offline all the time. So that was really more for people watching that don't think that this was just a cakewalk path, because it wasn't. You can't discredit what Tennessee has done to get here, because everybody said, well, the committee got it right this year. And we knocked out a 3 and a 2. Now we got our eyes set on the 1.
I'm picking up that you've had this argument a couple times today.
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
I'm ready for it. Y'all just at me, and I can tell you why you're wrong too.
Nice. All right, well, let's talk about Tennessee, Michigan. We got a nice game going on right here between Purdue and Arizona. And I will say Purdue.
Arizona.
Yes, agreed. Purdue, though, has shocked me through the tournament. I didn't expect them to get this far. Braden Smith's a good guard. He has played. Normally, this is though where you can figure him out. There's nothing super special about him. He's just a good ball player. But as he just canned a 3 there, he's playing above what I thought he could in this moment, which he's carrying Purdue. And
he and Lawyer, unfortunately, they're a good duo. They really play well together, and if one's off, then usually the other one can pick up. But they both played pretty well in this tournament, and I hate them.
But all right, so the Michigan game tomorrow, that's going to be tough. I think it's the one matchup that you're going to look at so far where you really can't bank on being bigger than them, especially in going and maybe you out-rebound them on the offensive glass because you've done that to everybody all season, but it's definitely not going to be as wide as a margin as it has been against the team so far. What do you do to beat Michigan, handle and try to quiet Yaks, try to limit Cadeau, and they're just a big physical team, and they're also athletic, so that they really can put you in a bind offensively and defensively. But T, how do you think you attack this Michigan team to keep it close and then let someone like Nate Ament or Jacoby take over late and win you a game?
I don't know, because I don't know Michigan well enough. I think the only Michigan game that I watched was the Michigan-Duke game where Michigan lost. and Duke beat them in rebounds plus 12. So they, even though Michigan is big and all that, they can be beaten. They can be dominated on the glass. And I don't know that Duke has anything in terms of rebounding prowess that we can't provide as well. So I think potentially our rebounding edge could still be there. I don't really know what you do with Yaxel because how tall is he? Is he 6'8"?
Yaxel is 6'9". 6'9", like 240, 250. He's a big boy.
Yeah, so it's tough to put Boswell on him because Boswell is 6'4". It's tough to put Nate on him because Nate is 210, right? Now, that being said, last year we would have put Jemai Meshack on him without hesitation. And Meshack is 6'4" and probably lighter than Boswell. Now, Boswell's not quite to Meshack's level, but my point is that height disparity Barnes wouldn't have blinked, I don't think. He would have put Meshack on him immediately. So I'm curious to see if that's what he'll do. One, you got to do that. You can't put Nate on Yaxel. He's going to be gassed. Because one thing Nate's not going to do is he's not going to quit. He's not going to give up. He's going to play his hardest. And that would concern me that he would smoke himself on the offensive side. So I think to start things off, you got to put Boswell on him, try to face guard him like you did yesterday. Now, Yaxel's a completely different guy than number 22 from Iowa State, but get in his grill, try to deny him the ball, and do what you can. But even though Nate is the right height, I don't think that's the right move. So you're going to have to start with Boswell on him. Boswell will probably end up getting in foul trouble, and then you bring in Omari Evans, I think, who's a little bigger than Boswell. But I think we have the potential to still do what we need to do rebounding-wise. Again, I don't know what Duke has in terms of rebounding prowess that we don't. So if they can do it, why can't we? And then
you're averaging 2 more rebounds a game than they are currently.
Than Michigan?
Yes.
Sure. I don't know how good the Big Ten is as a conference in terms of rebounding and like physicality and all that. And I'm not saying that and like I don't think that they're good. I don't know. I don't pay enough attention to the Big 12. How are they?
No. So you got.
Well, okay. Well, so and side note is as good as Yaxel is. He's averaging like 15 points a game. It's not like, it's not like he's out here averaging 28 points a game or anything like that. So he is a baller, but 15 points a game seems, that seems manageable. Even if he exceeds his average, if we can just make him more, and then maybe he scores 21. I think maybe that's something that we can maybe still handle, depending on what you do with the rest of the squad.
Yeah, no, I was going to say that. Like, and we talked about this, like guard play. Cadeau has been nice, but he's averaging 10 points a game. Now he's collecting a lot of assists. What makes Michigan tough is they have collectively they're very good. Like they're not going to be able to do what you did. I think if you focus on Yaxel and just try to shut him down, I think Michigan has enough to also still average 85, 87 a game, right? There's been that model has been done before against Michigan, but they have good guard play. I don't think they have elite guard play. Hammer, would you agree? Like Cadeau has been a lot better than he has under Dusty May than he was Hubert Davis. But again, I don't think you'd sit there and go, Cadeau scares me against Jacoby.
Now, there's only one dude on the floor I'm concerned about with Michigan, and that's not to say or disrespect Michigan. It's just a matter of matchup. And obviously that's Yaxel because of the combination of size and shooting that, we're gonna have to figure something out. And then Mara, their big dude in the middle, he's actually not a great rebounder, and that's weird that he only averages a little over 6 a game. But him, Yaxel, and then Morez Johnson as a trio, they present their own challenge. So we got to figure out something with Ament, Okpara, Estrella and probably, include Brown in there as well. I don't see Carey as big and strong as he is. I think he's.
I was going to ask you, could Carey handle Yaxel?
I don't think so. I don't think his footwork and all. I don't think he's clean enough. I think he would get burned or foul a lot. I think it's going to. I mean, Okpara is the most athletic big we've got, and T and I were talking about it earlier, and it may come down to we may have to give up a little rim protection just to neutralize Yaxel. I think everybody else one-on-one, I feel like we can win a lot of those matchups and cause some chaos and some disruption. But we absolutely cannot let Yaxel take control of that game.
But that's worth it. So I've been thinking about the conversation that we were having, and we lose a ton of rim protection without Felix. But if he's able to just make life difficult for Yaxel, Michigan is going to be trying to force so much through Yaxel. There's probably enough value in that trade-off. I guess my other thing, Michigan is a up-tempo team, correct? Or am I off on that?
They'll push it, but I don't think that they're not at a super high pace of play, but they'll push it a little bit.
They get about 70 possessions.
Okay. Because we're good at slowing things down, right? And so if they're looking at kind of getting things off quick, going quick and all that, those are two completely conflicting styles, and we're pretty good at muddying that kind of stuff up. So that might slow them down too.
And I think that is 100% needs to be the approach is we've got to disrupt their, especially getting out in transition and force them to play some, dirty backyard type basketball. Can't let them just go out there and be efficient.
And then if we put them in the half court game, that again plays to our strengths because we do well against systems, and that's what you got to do when you're in the half court.
Yeah, 100%. Because if you look at it strictly from a statistical standpoint, I mean they are very much dominant in that regard. They're fourth in the country in scoring. They're third in the country in shooting percentage, and they average right at 37% from three. They give up about 70 points a game. So everything about their stats say that they're far and away a more efficient team. But that's where we can cause some chaos and some disruption and force them to do things that they are not accustomed to doing. One thing of note, though, that because I always look for what are their strengths and then what areas do they struggle. One of the areas that Michigan struggles is turnovers. They're 205th in the nation in protecting the basketball with almost 12 turnovers a game. And that's playing against those shitty Big Ten defenses. So I think Tennessee's got an opportunity there, just like we had a huge advantage in, rebounding last night. I still think we have an advantage because there's not a dominant rebounder on this team. If you look at their individual stats, nobody averages over 7 rebounds a game. So there's nobody dominant. So I think that's an opportunity. And granted, yes, we give the ball away as good as anybody, but I don't know that they have the type of pressure that we saw last night from Iowa State. And combine that with they are prone to also turn over the ball when they get flustered, when they get put in situations where they're pressed or things aren't going quite the way they want them to go offensively, they make mistakes. And I think that plays right into the hand of the style that Tennessee is probably going to approach them with. And that is going to be get up in your face, kind of like what Houston does to teams that are machines offensively, and they make them look like they've just started playing basketball. They just get it ugly and force chaos. And that's, I think, what Tennessee will have to do because this is as efficient offensive, defensive balance, third and fourth in scoring and shooting. We've just got to make it difficult on them. We've got to make life difficult and not let them just stand there and shoot or feed the ball into the post and, poster us all night.
And what Michigan has that you guys don't have is depth. They have dudes 8, 9 deep who are getting close to 20 minutes a game. And maybe that can wear you down, because if Nate does get in foul trouble, or Jacoby does, or Boswell has been known to get in foul trouble, when you got to, they have dudes that can come off the bench and be efficient. And I think that's why you see even like a guy like Yaxel only averaging 15 points a game. They are averaging 12 turnovers a game. They're also averaging close to 19 assists a game. But you're right. There's not, there's not one person that's dominating any stats. So does that play to your advantage, or does that make it tougher to kind of, game plan against? We'll see how that works.
Yeah, I think it's an advantage because we can win individual matchups. Like Carey and Okpara both had double-digit rebounds last night. Yeah. Somebody's going to get those rebounds. We may not get as many offensive rebounds, but I still think we have an advantage there. And I think if we leverage that, create some turnovers and shorten the game, not give them as many possessions and as many opportunities to score by causing chaos, being disruptive. And we're basically playing a 9-man rotation, period. Like everybody except Brown last night had 14 plus minutes, and Brown had 9.
And Brown probably would have. He just didn't play well enough.
Yeah,
right? Like Barnes has shown a willingness to play Brown, but Barnes also makes the right call. Like Estrella was playing very poorly. Carey played very well. Carey soaked up the minutes. So with that 4-man front court that we have, Barnes will go with the guys that he needs to go with. So yeah, we will go 4 deep. At least 4 dudes will play off the bench, and then Barnes will make the right call on, based off who's playing well and fouls and all that. I'm with you on that.
And that even means that, he may play small ball. He may play, 3 guards, a small forward, and 1 big. He's not afraid to, change that lineup up based on what's working and where he feels like he has advantage, or where he feels like he's getting quality minutes out of people. So that's one thing about Barnes. He will be quick to pull somebody out and, put somebody else in if something's not working. So it'll really, again, we said this and we saw it surface last night. It depends on what kind of whistle we get. If they go out there and let us play, then I think you will really be able to kind of slow the game down for Michigan. And if they call every little ticky-tack foul, then we're probably going to be in trouble because we're more physical than they are.
Man, they flipped that whistle on us yesterday.
Dude, it was night and day difference. The rest did, and I can say this because we won by 14. The rest did everything they could do to give Iowa State an opportunity to get back in that game. They just couldn't hit their free throws.
Yeah, they shoot 75% for the free throw line. They're in that game late.
That's correct.
Yep.
They hit there. They break their average by a little bit, and they're in it. They just they could not. You mentioned I was thinking the same thing as like if I could run a Gillespie, Boswell, Berg, Nate, Okpara lineup out there and try to play fast. I don't know how many minutes you've seen that, or not Berg, maybe Evans instead of Berg, but just like a smaller lineup with the way Nate Amit can play. And then, having, and that would you'd have to rely on Nate on Yaxel, which I think scares you. But then you'd also put Yaxel in a spot because he's, he's not as shifty as Nate Amit. Nate Amit might not be as physical, but Nate Amit, if he wants to, will blow by Yaxel. So I'm curious how this. I think it's going to be, styles make fights. We said it a bunch of times. It's going to be fun to watch.
And Rick Barnes is really good at neutralizing the opposing team's best player, as long as it's not a guard. Yaxel's not a guard.
Side note: This is a Rick Barnes revenge game against Dusty May, right? So
it is,
because he beat us at when he was at FAU
FAU.
in
That's
the
right.
tournament.
Yep. Payback's coming, homie.
So revenge game, hopefully.
Yes.
All right, so T, I'm going to challenge you right now. So you told us Selection Sunday, you asked me what the ceiling was for Kentucky, and we threw it back at you. You said everything goes perfect. It's Elite Eight for Tennessee. Have you changed it? Do you think now it's different the way the draw is? You're playing Michigan the way you've seen the team play? Or is it like, hey, we hit our ceiling, and I truly think that we have had a great season, Elite Eight, but Michigan's going to be too much just because that's what I thought coming in.
Nah, it looks like they've broken through what I thought was the ceiling. Again, it's a stars align thing, but if the stars align, then we can win the game, and if we win the game, then Final Four. So, no, I think I was incorrect. Gladly so. But if you're playing in the game, then you have an opportunity to win it, right? So if it all works out, then we could win the game and hit the Final Four. So gladly ready to eat crow on saying that and say that the ceiling is higher than I thought it was. Again, it will take a good game, a great game, really, and all that. But if it happens, then, we could be there.
Yeah. Hammer, I mean, obviously you questioned, you said, I think Sweet 16 was going to be good for you. So obviously have exceeded your expectations, but what are your thoughts on, I mean, you've laid out clearly so far, it seems like you're leaning that you think not only can Tennessee win, but potentially they will win. Taking the fandom out of it, looking at the numbers, you think that this is like a legitimate chance to get to Rick Barnes' Tennessee's first ever Final Four.
I mean, sure. There's, chip in a chair, as they say in the poker world, and we've got an opportunity. There's definitely a path. There's a script, if you will, for Tennessee to get past Michigan. But also living in the real world, this is a very talented team. They've only lost to Wisconsin, Purdue, and Duke. And two of those teams are still playing ball. So it's a very good team. They're well deserving of the number one ranking. They've had some scares, and I think they are gettable. I've said that. Arizona, to me, was the only one seed that I thought would, I won't say coast through, because nobody's coasting through this field, but I thought Arizona would have maybe the path of least resistance. I thought the other one seeds could be beaten. Duke because of injury, Florida because of it's tough to repeat, Michigan because they've had some close games and could argue Wisconsin was a lesser opponent. So, yeah, I definitely think there are matchups that we can win. I think there's opportunities for this team to take Michigan out of their comfort zone and what they're, what they would prefer to be the game script. But let's not just read that as, Tennessee's going to beat them by 15. If you want my betting angle, I would take Tennessee plus the 7.5. And I would probably lean the under. I don't know that I'm ready to tell you that, yeah, Tennessee is going to win this game.
7.5 seems like a lot of points.
It's a high spread of the Elite Eight games.
What's the over-under?
146.5 now. It was 147.5.
Have any of Tennessee's games gotten that high? I can't imagine they have.
I can't remember the score of the Miami, Ohio game.
Yeah.
I'd have to look them up. I'll look them up. You can sing or something while I do it.
Yeah. No, and looking at this from Michigan's point of view, I think in the big games that you've won, you've had, what's up, Juice? We're just talking about folks in here right now thinking that Tennessee going to win tomorrow. They got a shot.
No,
But,
none of them have come to that total.
Yeah, so I didn't think they did. That seems like a easy under if you all can just play the same with the same defensive effort that you have been. Even if obviously the offense not clicking, then you're fine. But you just keep Michigan to 80 points or less, and you're cooking there.
That makes me curious as to what their team total is. I'm gonna look that up while you.
Michigan 87.
It is 87. I don't think they get there.
Something.
I'm not saying we won't beat them or they won't beat us, but I don't know that they get to 87.
I would agree. I think 87. If they get to 87, then they had a one.
If they get to 87, we got no shot.
Yeah, that means Cadeau had like a career game, or you just like
somebody popped off, and we not going to be in this game.
But if I'm looking at it, I just don't know that anybody Cadeau, anybody on their squad can really stay in front of limit Jacoby. I think Jacoby's going to have the ability to get his right. 15 for Jacoby tomorrow is probably a lock. I don't know what his over under is for points, but 15 to 17, I think that's probably a guarantee. But what you can't also have if you're
had to go dad voice real quick.
Oh boy.
What you can't have happen is also Nate Ament going for 18 plus like he did against Iowa State. So I think you got to focus on securing rebounds and any possessions off of misses and not giving second chance points to Tennessee if you're Michigan, and you have to limit Nate Ament. Even if Boswell goes off and hits 3 or 4 threes, Michigan can still overcome that. They can't overcome Nate Ament deciding to have another great game along with Jacoby also getting his and offensive rebounds going Tennessee's way. Like those things can't happen, especially if they're looking at hitting their average in 12 plus turnovers. So if I'm Dusty May, I'm like, I have to be able to trust Cadeau and whoever to limit Jacoby and everybody else on their guards. I have to sell out on Nate Ament and his youth and maybe forcing things when he shouldn't, trying to be that guy. And I got to send at least 4 to the glass every single time. Even if it slows the game down, I can't allow Okpara, Carey, JP, any of these guys to get easy second chance looks at the rim. Even though y'all suck at putting those back, you get 50% of your misses. Some of them are going to go in.
Yeah.
So that is and Juice, we talk about that. Like Cadeau has been Cadeau is so elegant there, Juice. But we've said that he's played great for Dusty May, or a lot better than he did for UNC and Hubert Davis, but he's not elite by any means.
Who do you think? Who do you think has the highest point projection in the game tomorrow, Rando? Just put you on the spot here.
Probably Nate Ament. No.
Sure is.
Who is it?
Jacoby Gillespie.
Okay, I should have. I overthought it. What is it?
Well, I thought you may lean towards Yaxel.
No.
Jacoby's at 18.5. Yaxel's line is 15.5.
So right at his average.
Vegas is concerned about Yaxel being able to have his way because I remember the dude when he was at UAB, and that joker made me a boatload of money because I can bet college props in Alabama. And he was a cash cow, but that has not been the case at Michigan. So I kind of struggle and he's a great player. Okay. I'm not saying he's not, but I struggle with all the slob knobbing that everybody's doing on this guy because he's just not a dominant scorer. He works well in the system, but he's not going to go out there and drop 30. So I don't think. Do
you think he could if they needed him to?
No.
I think that's no.
Not with our front court. I don't.
No. I don't mean does it get you guys? I mean like if in the Big Ten, if they didn't have everything around him, do you think he could be that guy? And hey, I need you to get 20 plus.
Yeah, he could be a lurch like Purdue had a couple of years ago in Foul Ming. Yeah, he could be that 25, 12 guy. Sure. I think he's dominant enough to do that, but he won't do that in this system.
No. And
that's where I like our other, straight up face-to-face matchups. I like our chances against the other guys.
My last question for you is, are you concerned the only really large presence they have there that would maybe give Okpara some trouble is Mara? This dude's 7'3", but he's not super athletic. He's definitely not stretching the floor out, but he is a big presence down there that can potentially, give Okpara some problems with his post play.
The only thing I'm concerned about that matchup is fouls.
Yes, that's what I was
Felix is more athletic. I don't care about the 2 or 3 inch difference in height. He's way more athletic. I feel like he's more aggressive, and he's a much better defender on both on the perimeter and at the rim. Mara's just tall. And no disrespect, Mara, you're just tall. Felix is athletic. Felix potentially could be an NBA center with his athleticism. So I'm not concerned about that. I'm concerned about the same thing I was concerned about 2 years ago with Foul Ming setting up his tent in the lane for 15 seconds at a time and getting fouled every time somebody blinked their eyes wrong at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Felix could be a Clint Capella, right? I mean, like 100% in the vein of.
Yeah, he can give you 10-10, 12-12, night in, night out, block 3 shots. He's legit that guy. I really believe that.
Juice, what's up, man? You weren't here when we talked about it earlier. We mentioned
they're soft, Juice. They're soft.
And we mentioned Kerry, right? So Kerry, obviously, that's his time to shine against soft guys, but he is he potentially has some issues being shorter and not fleet of foot. To put it nicely, do you see a place where Kerry can have an impact again, or are we going to need Estrella to figure himself out and be a 6'11" person who can make a layup? Because he could not yesterday.
He's missed more shots from 2 feet and in than anybody I've ever seen in my life.
It is insane. And he is so skilled. That's what's so crazy to me. Like, he is incredibly skilled. And
but when you're missing those shots, it's because you don't like contact, right? He's expecting contact. He doesn't like contact.
Yeah. He is soft.
That's where we miss Cade Phillips. If Cade Phillips was healthy and on the floor, he would be packing these jokers' lunches, dunking that ball.
Throwing his body all over the place.
He gives 0 Fs. He will absolutely get in there. He don't care how big, how ugly, how smelly you are. He will mix it up, and we miss that.
We do. Yeah, JP was 2 for 8, and what do you think? 6 of those 8 were probably within 5 feet.
Easily,
if not 7 of 8.
Easily. Some of them he was standing right at the rim.
Yes. Especially to start the game off.
Had gravity on his side and everything. Still could get the ball down.
It was insane.
Like,
Juice, you and I
just go up with 2 hands and throw that son of a bitch through the floor.
Yeah.
My goodness.
It's crazy. If I was 7 foot, dude, I'd be dunking every time I touched it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love Malachi Moreno. Go watch some of his film. And my goodness, not only can he not catch the basketball, he just won't finish strong. But Juice, I said the same thing. That's what my concern is. I don't know that 1 through 5 there's a significant drop off in any of the starters with Tennessee, but when he hit that bench, that's what concerns me. If you're a Tennessee fan,
if our front court gets in foul trouble, it's going to be a long night.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I do think, and this is me calling him dumpy earlier, which is disrespectful. I apologize. I think Jalen Carey can do something with Yaxel. I really do. I think he's big enough. I think he's athletic enough, and if you're getting Yaxel in a position where he's just jacking up threes, because maybe Carey doesn't take him out 24 feet from the basket, but Yaxel's only shooting 35% from 3, which is respectable. So you have to respect it. But if you just get him to where he's settling for that, I think Jalen Carey can come in there and lean on Yaxel and wear him down to where 4 or 5 minutes left to go in the game, those legs aren't what they have been because of the depth and whatnot. And then there's potentially, you don't have the closer that Michigan has had all season with Yaxel.
If we
Yeah.
could get Yaxel guarding Carey, that would be outstanding. I would love that.
Fabulous. And Carey is every bit of that 268 pounds that he's listed. That is a man.
That boy's every bit of 280.
He is he's 270, 275. That 260 something. That was the start of the season. That is a big boy.
And he's we'll see, but I would like to see him in the lineup and see what he can do at that 4 spot. If they're gonna try to play Yaxel heavy minutes, especially if you guys get in foul trouble. Even Brown, I think that those two dudes can really you're gonna lose some things on the offensive side, but that's the game that you win, right?
I think you're willing to make that trade.
Yeah, you hold Michigan to 75, you're in it. You let them get to 80 plus, you're not. And that's just my thoughts.
No, you're 100% right. We can't let them score their average. We can't match. I don't think we can match offensive production with them at that because that means that game has been faster paced. We haven't dictated tempo, and we can't win doing that. We turn the ball over too much.
Now, Juice, that's the opposite of what Rando said. Rando doesn't think that Yaxel can guard Nate very well.
I don't. I think I don't, but I also don't think Nate can guard Yaxel well with what he's going to do. But if Nate's playing the 4, or I guess whatever, if they try to put, Brady Smith just went down holding his ankle. But if they try to put Yaxel on Nate, I think Yaxel gets in foul trouble. If Nate's smart and uses his athleticism, his shiftiness, and doesn't just try to beat down on Yaxel, put the ball to the ground, get in. Yaxel's going to play with his hands and going to foul him. Now, will they call it? I don't know, because he's a star. Sometimes late in these games, they give him a respectable whistle. But I would, if I'm Nate Ament and I see Yaxel on me, I'm taking you, dude. Like I'm better than you. That's why I'm going to be a lottery pick and you're not.
Yep, 100%, because he's 6'9", 240. So he's also built that kind of that same, Jalen Carey mold. Nate will blow by him.
Yeah.
I'm going at Braden Smith every play now. If I'm Arizona, I'm getting a screen or whatever and putting him on Burries, and then just have Burries go right at him.
Yeah, because they won't set him.
No, now he looks like he's moving okay now. The whole just tighten your shoe up and then you're all right. But I would have Burries just whoever Smith is guarding, you put him at screen.
Yeah. Well,
I guess it doesn't have to be
his noggin right off our hardwood, man. Watch this.
Ooh,
bam.
Yeah.
You are Ken Cust, my guy.
Yaxel's averaging in the tournament, 31 minutes a game, 19 points and 2 fouls. He's had 2 fouls in each of the 3 tournament games.
So teams have not been applying pressure on him.
Have not been. And he's only shot – that math is hard. He's only shot 12 free throws in the 3 games, 4 in every game. He's very efficient at free throws, but he's only shot 12 free throws.
So what is his game? Is he because according to you, Rando, he's not a slasher. Is he
am I wrong that he was more of a 4 and a 5 at UAB?
He was a 4 at UAB, yeah, and that's basically what he is in Michigan.
Yeah, but he's more of a wing player, right? He's not a true power forward. He's more of Admiral Schofield is who comes to mind for me. Like a true wing player. Am I wrong in that, T?
I have not watched Yaxel enough to.
I think this is a great. I think this by Juice is perfect. Like, he doesn't shoot great, but he's good. He's not a great post player, but he's good. This is why he was good. He was a projected 2nd round pick last year in the draft. He does a lot of things really well, but nothing great or elite. He has gotten better and more.
That was the perfect comp then to me.
Yeah,
he's more athletic than Schofield, in my opinion. I think he's got more tools in his toolbox offensively, but
And he may,
I
yeah.
don't know. Yeah.
From a shooting
I think-
perspective, he probably does.
yeah. And I think what he has done at Michigan is he's not at, 19 points a game in the tournament. So obviously they're leaning on him more than they have in the regular season.
Yeah.
But what he is super efficient with everything that he does. Hammer just when he gets the free throw line, not often, but he shoots it well at the free throw line. He's shooting over 50% from the field, including 35% from three. So he does a lot of things that are well, but I don't know how he'll transition to the NBA because he is kind of like a weird,
He's a
6'9".
tweener.
Yeah, he's between that 3 and 4 spot. So, but if he can get that shooting percentage, especially from outside to 38-40%, then he's going to be very good in the NBA.
Yeah. Hey, well, the Grizzlies had Jemai Meshack playing center earlier this year, so
6'4" center in the NBA.
yep.
But you know what? Side note on the 6'4", I thought Evans was bigger. He's 6'5". I thought he was like 6'7" for some reason.
Dude, I thought he was 6'7", 6'8".
Yeah, he's listed at least at 6'5", and so if you're listed at 6'5", then
You're about 6'3".
you are at best 6'5".
Well, do they measure you in shoes in college like do the NBA?
I don't know, but if they do, then that's still the same.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Well,
Honest,
Peabody also listed Diego Poverty at 6 foot, and that joker is 5'6" with high heels or something. There ain't no way. I mean, you can put anything you want in the press guy.
That's true. Yeah, I'm 6'3".
Yeah, I identify as 6'3".
I identify. Oh man, what I would do with an extra couple inches, you know what I'm saying? But
That's what she said.
every single time, Hammer, every time. Yeah, but it is what it is. So right now we're looking at. We already have one Final Four. Illini going to Indy.
They're gonna
Purdue,
mess it up.
Arizona.
Illinois is
Purdue's going to figure it out. You think so?
I don't know, but
I-
Arizona was my pick, but Illinois, they're huge and they can all shoot.
They can all shoot, and what they've done in the tournament defensively was
Juice,
something
bro.
that I thought. See you, buddy.
Later, Juice.
That was what I thought was going to be their kryptonite. Was they have a poor shooting night defensively, haven't been great, but they've stepped it up on that end too, and I think they're super dangerous, man. And they sure as hell aren't scared of anybody that they're going to play.
No, they're not.
So
No, Juice say that.
oh, okay. Well, yeah, he said, "Love you guys." I was like, "All right, yeah, Juice, see you, dude."
I'm sorry, Juice. I'm just going by these. That's what I get for following Rando. I'm all over the place over here on stats and all this other crap that I do.
No, we were saying
watching the
time for you
screen.
to go, dude. See you. Time for you to sign.
Yeah. Rando, that's enough positivity out of you, Juice. Bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, Illinois is
what's that?
dangerous, man. They are.
Yeah, they're really good.
We had now it was early in the year and who knows what it will look like now, but we had zero answer for them when we played them.
Yeah.
We just were lost in the sauce. We didn't know what to do.
My bracket died with Houston, unfortunately. My first weekend and even the third round, I was looking all right, but yeah.
See,
see
this again, you have not learned this year because Rando was posting about Rando being on the top of the podium after the round of 32 or whatever. Like you got to stop preseason exhibition and gaming us. Like you got to stop it.
Listen, I was posting everybody. All right, I just happened to be at the top. Yeah, everybody was mentioned.
Right, but you were being a braggart about being at the top. And nobody likes a braggart, and that's why.
Listen, I listed the top three, and I just happened to be at the top three. That's all it was. If you're reading into it, that's on you. But
you literally said Rando is at the top of the podium. There was no podium at the time. There's no podium. There's no podium after 32.
Whatever. Anyways, now that I'm sitting like 23rd or something. But what sucks is the same thing that got me. Selection Sunday, I said I would have rather had Houston than Iowa State because Houston has the same issues that Kentucky has at times where they just cannot score the basketball. If you're physical with them, they have Fleming, who's great, Sharp, who can shoot, but they just both of them at times they will go quiet, and they did that in this game, and they try to make a couple runs, but offensively they were just out of sync the whole time. And I thought this was the year because of those guards and whatnot, they were going to come out of that, but they had shown in the regular season, and then it showed up in the tournament game, and that's why they lost. So unfortunately, Kelvin Sampson let me down. I thought this was going to get his redemption tour after losing to Florida, but that was not the case.
Yeah, outside of Tennessee, Houston is like who I pull for. I really like Kelvin Sampson, but we'll see. Juice said, do y'all see Eddie Links talking about how Nate can't get to his spots? I don't know who Eddie Links is, but
this dude's an ultimate troll, man. That's all he does.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I mean, I wouldn't even waste my time with that. That was the issue Nate was having at the beginning of the year, and generally speaking, he has figured it out. So
yeah, I would say that Corgi knocking balls down the stairs knows more than this Eddie Links chick.
That dog sucks, man. It didn't get nothing right. If you bet off that dog, you were losing all of your money.
Yep. Yeah, you're going to be working.
That dog was like spot on last year, though.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yes.
I told y'all he didn't know his ass from last Tuesday when I saw those picks.
I liked him. I particularly liked all the picks because they lined up not only with my bracket, but with what my heart wanted, right? And unfortunately, I only had one. And all my hate watching over the weekend or started Friday, whenever it was, I only had one win, and that was Calipari and Arkansas just getting absolutely boat raced. Everybody else, Duke won, y'all won. It was just like it's been just not good basketball, which goes to my tweet today of like I hate this sport.
I appreciate that. You got me good engagement on that, so thank you.
Did you, I saw you you quoted me there, but. Hopefully, a lot of that Tennessee. I did, Hammer. I'm on your level now. I'm now at 2.8 thousand followers. Unfortunately, the last 20 have all been Tennessee fans, so I know that they're just bookmarking all my stuff to come at me at some point. So it's going to be fun. But thanks, Vol Twitter, for getting me to 2.8.
Yeah, you said you're on my level. I was about to ask you. You're going to explain that because that could be good or bad.
Juice, Tom Izzo expressed he directly addressed that and said he has nothing else to do, so he will not be retiring.
Yeah.
He said, "What I see myself in the next 5 years doing this." He said, "I love what I'm doing." He ain't doing,
Yeah.
Which
he's not retiring.
What are our thoughts on the UNC gig? We still lean in Billy Donovan, or you think there's a now that TJ's out of the tournament, you got some of these other guys who are out. Calipari being one of them. Obviously, Billy Donovan's done. It depends on what he's doing in Chicago. Hammer, you still leaning Billy, or do you think one of these other coaches that were listed potentially gets a look first?
Well, I mean, I'll go back to my stance on UNC that they're gonna. I mean, because they got Jordan money, right? And the fact that if the reports are true, we'll just, for sake of argument, say they are. That Jordan did fly into Chapel Hill, met with whoever, whatever. Dude, I'm telling you, they're going to throw a stupid amount of money at somebody. And I don't think there's anybody better to come in and revive a program or bigger name than Billy Donovan. I mean, guy won 2 national championships at Florida.
Think he still got it?
Well, sure. He's coaching professional players, whether he's in the NBA or the NCAA. Make a difference.
I agree. I agree.
Pros.
I think he still has the X's and O's. I think he can put together a hell of a staff.
Recruiting's not recruiting. Recruiting is free agency and signing undrafted free agents of sorts, right? Because you go out and get the high school kids, all they care about is how much you paying me. And then the mercenaries in the transfer portal, which is somewhat unfair, but I'm going with it. They're in it for the money. right? Nobody's coming because they love to put that uniform on. There's very few, but
Very few. Yeah.
very
Agreed.
few that do that. So yeah, I don't see why Donovan wouldn't, and I don't know why North Carolina wouldn't. That would be the first name on my list. If I'm the AD at North Carolina and Billy Donovan is stepping down, I'm going to pick up the phone and say, "Hey, dude, you sure you're done coaching?" And from there, who knows? Apparently, Bill Self is done.
Yeah. I wonder.
Watson-
I wonder if what he is actually done, because I know there's been all the insiders and whatnot are saying he's done. He came out and said no. We talked about that on Wednesday. Like, he can't really say he's done right now, or you got dudes like Tay Kenny, all your recruits are gone. So Arizona making a run, 46-43 now. Purdue's offense is going quiet.
Do you? Let me
you're
throw
like
this at
5
you,
seconds ahead of me.
because you may have a better insight to this. Do you think North Carolina would throw money at Pitino?
Yes.
100%. I agree. I think they would.
I don't know if – I know there's been it's been out there on the internet that his camp reached out to North Carolina and said that he was interested. I'm curious to see how true that is. I think he has a good thing at St. John's. Again, being at a school where they can dedicate most of their money to only basketball and to him. He is the biggest thing on that campus, and he will be until he leaves.
He's that guy, right? He's that New York, New Jersey, Northeastern. Yeah. I mean, that's him. He epitomizes.
And he quite literally just said his last press conferences that blue bloods don't matter anymore in college basketball. He's just like, it's so that it would surprise me if he left. If I'm betting on a dark horse again, I would put more money on them, dumping a Brinks truck at Calipari, just because, you probably only have 4 or 5 more years with Rick Pitino, I would guess, before he's just too old and wants to hang it up. Cal could coach another 10 plus years, right? So you could get a decade out of him. And his first decades at a program have been pretty good. So I do agree that Billy Donovan's probably the guy you go after first. You make him say no, and then you have some things working in the background. And, at worst, and this is no knock on him because I think he's a good coach. At worst, you have TJ Austinberger, who's got a $4 million buyout, and you can get for it. He said he's not going. They all say that. If UNC offered him the money to go there, I think he leaves.
I hate to break it to you, Cyclone fans, but you're not a basketball school.
You're a wrestling school that has a great basketball coach.
Exactly. He ain't staying. He may stay this year, but he'll be gone. Yeah. He'll be at one of those blue bloods that don't exist before too long if he keeps winning 30 games a year.
Iowa might need to start looking for a new head coach. He does what he did again this year, and I know he was a 9 seed, but he got this far in the tournament. He's a D2 national championship guy. I don't know. He has another good year this year and makes a D tournament run. You're looking at Iowa looking for a new coach, and he's going to get a great opportunity somewhere.
Yeah, he might be the next coach at Kentucky.
Hey, Sturts and Olivero were both targeted at Kentucky, and I would have loved them on this roster. This ain't saying I want him over Pope, but he was able to land those 2 dudes that we didn't. And if the number that I was told is accurate, the difference between Olivero and us letting him go in order to get Yelovich, I mean, I don't got a bunch of money, but that doesn't seem like a lot for some of these bajillionaires, man.
That's pocket money. They walk around with that kind of money on them. And Randall, that wasn't a dig at you or Big Blue Nation. Everybody is at the point where the entire team's leaving, underperformed, and everybody wants him gone. So that's the only reason I say that.
Yeah,
Arizona's starting to lean on Purdue.
They are. Hey, so have you all looked at this recruit that we got for next season, the freshman, Mason Williams, Mo Williams kid, point guard?
I know who he is. I haven't dug into it because I don't care.
Yeah, so let me be honest with you. Mason Williams, not on my radar at all. Had no idea this kid. I mean, he was committed to his dad at Jackson State. 4-star kid, though. I will say, obviously, you're not putting low lights out on the internet, right? You're only going to put your best film out on the internet. But what he has out there and him beating some of the, the best prep school in the country and putting up great numbers, he is a he can score on his own. I think it's a great pickup, a 4-star kid who he probably knows it's a multi-year dude. And I do think while Blue Bloods don't necessarily have a massive advantage, you get someone like that in your system early, it's very rare they're going to leave, right? Because if he plays well, we'll give him the money, and it's Kentucky, right? So it's not like, he's he goes to Iowa, right? We were just talking about Iowa. He goes to Iowa and then plays well, and then a Kentucky or a Kansas or a Tennessee or whatever goes and gets him, right? It's not like a Tennessee getting Jacoby from Maryland, because Maryland is a good school, but Tennessee's an SEC school that's been in the Elite Eight for the last 3 years. So I think you get him in there. He doesn't leave Kentucky if he performs well. You'll pay him.
I think all things equal, money's equal, and you've got a blue blood or you've got a mid-major or a low Power 5, the blue blood wins that recruiting battle.
Yeah, agreed. And then, Tyron Stokes, we'll see what happens. All-American game is his commitment date. We'll see how that goes. Dink Pate, Coach Pope was out there watching him today. Dink Pate's the one that I really want. Tyron Stokes, who knows? I think Dink Pate's got the attitude will come in here and he'll bowl out. And he's not going to be a prima donna. And, he has to come here and play well to get to the league, right? He has to. He's been in the G League and can't get there. So, he has to come here and perform. It's not going to be sitting out. It's not going to be any of this nonsense. Tyron Stokes, you really don't know what you're getting out of him. He could be an absolute dog. Like I said, he could be Nate Ament. He could be Darius Acuff. He could be Darren Patterson, or he could be Michael Brown. You just don't really know what you're getting with some of these freshmen. But Colin Chandler potentially leaving. Dylan Ballard, who I respect, says he expects him back, but BYU is making a push. It is funny because I know we put the clip out there today. Selena, who's not on tonight, was pretty adamant about her knowledge about Utah trying to poach him. I didn't think they would be willing to pay that much money, but it seems like she was correct there with all the news that's coming out now. And then you got I think Moreno's back, Cam Williams back, J-Lo's hitting the portal, so now you need a point guard. There's a lot of holes to fill in this roster, and there's not a lot of time to do it now with the portal window. So it is a massive offseason for Pope, and I don't know where the answers lie. A lot of people are in the portal, a lot of people are tied to us, but they were that last year, and we had big names, but a lot of names that we expected or thought or wanted went other places.
Yeah.
Juice, I don't know if I have a hard answer for you. I really like Burries from Arizona, though. I'm a big Burries fan, and unfortunately, I'm also I like Tanner a lot. I really, really, really like Tanner. I hate that he plays for Vandy, but I've thought really highly of Tanner. I haven't seen anybody that explosive or that quick that I can remember since Jordan Bum. So I like Tanner a lot, and I like Burries from Arizona a lot.
And I really like Yaxel.
It took me a minute to translate what Juice was saying, but I figured it out.
Yeah, I like Yaxel a lot. I don't know, Juice, if you were on, I'd said when he was at UAB, I rode that dude like a government mule. I bet him every single game. And more times than not, he was a cash cow. So I'm a big fan of Yaxel, just not tomorrow.
No, definitely not tomorrow.
I can't tell if Juice is being sarcastic about JQ.
He's definitely being sarcastic.
You think so?
Yes.
Yeah. I have been on the side of the argument of no, it wasn't a good investment.
Answer the question, Rando. Stop trying to talk about Kentucky.
He put it in there. JQ was a great investment by Kentucky.
He asked the question first.
What question?
My favorite
player outside my team?
Other than your team, yeah. Who do you like in college basketball?
So I said Tanner or Burries. Hammer said Yaxel.
Can it be one of these top dudes? Because I know who
anybody you want.
It could be whoever you want.
You can pick any Tennessee player you want.
You could say Nate Ament or Jacoby Gillespie.
Yeah, either one.
I do like Nate Ament, but my God, if I could have Darius Acuff at Kentucky like I thought,
that's a good answer.
That'd be my other one. He's got to be the number one pick conversation, man. Got to be.
I think AJ gets him, but he's number 2 if he's not number 1.
Yeah, that dude just he can't play defense for nothing. But man, if you just want to score, and that's all the NBA really cares about.
There were so many fun dudes to watch this year, though, man.
Yeah.
I mean, this year was incredible. I mean, AJ was fun to watch. Darren Peterson was a blast to watch when he was playing.
When he played, yeah.
When he played, that dude is extra special. I liked Caleb Wilson a lot. Yeah, man, he's
honorable mention, and again, it's a guy who plays for a team that I can't stand. Caleb Foster is a fun player to watch play ball.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the Duke guy?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, but I'll tell you what, the Boozer brother, when he got his chance to fill in, he stepped up.
Yeah, he's done well.
He looked really good.
Yeah, I'll add Jeremy Fears to my list of guys I like. Guard at Michigan State. He's really good.
I think he's doing his best to watch Draymond Green film. He's a little dirty, but I do like he's got a swag about him. I agreed.
Who I wish I'd watched, and I didn't watch him at all, but was the freshman over at Stanford who was averaging 20-something points a game. it's Stanford, so I never watched, but I wish I would have checked him out and seen what he was all about. Oh, come on, Arizona. Arizona's about to they didn't let Purdue right back into it.
All right, so let me throw something out there for you boys. I know we don't normally do this, but I was just sitting here.
I like trying new things.
Having a little fun. So tell me what you think about this. I've got Nate Ament over 16 points. I've got Elliot Cadeau over 5.5 assists. I've got Felix Okpara over 7 rebounds. And I have Yaxel Lindenborg under 9.5 rebounds and assists.
Ooh. He's averaging 7 rebounds, right?
Well, if you look at the Alabama game, that number's wildly inflated. He does average around 6. Yeah, he averages around 7 rebounds a game.
I like the Cadeau assist. I think he's averaging close to 6 assists a game. Give him to me one more time.
Hang on. Let me back out of it here. Nate Ament's over 16 points. Cadeau over 5.5 assists. Okpara over 7 rebounds. And Lindenborg under 9.5 rebounds and assists.
Yeah, the only one that makes me nervous there is Nate, and that's because I'm going off of my mindset. If I'm Dusty May, I got to take Nate out of the game. I have to make him uncomfortable, and I can't. Now, maybe Nate might just be that dude, and maybe he's a guy we're not getting enough credit. He has proven that he can. He's been an aggressive scorer. He's every bit of the lottery pick he was thought to be early on in the season, just based off potential what he will be. But if I'm Dusty May and I have an older team, I gotta lean on him and I gotta take him out of the game and let Jacoby have his and keep Nate Ament to under 15 points if I can. But again, it's also not letting him get to the free throw line. There's a lot of things that go to that. So can he get there? Yes, but I think if Michigan wins, they got to keep him under that. But that's my only thought about that one.
Okay.
Mosquito. But what's Okpara's rebound total average? Because 7 to me seems super low for Okpara, but if they're putting it out there, it means it's got to be close to his average.
Yeah, let me look.
I think Nate has been our leading rebounder by average, but I'll let Hammer look that up. Juice, Coa Pete is super interesting to me. So my parents live in Arizona now. 3 miles from where he went to high school. So last year, I went to go watch him play in like a Thanksgiving tournament or something. I've told him or Rando this. I haven't seen a high schooler that physically impressive, like just the way he's built, since I was in high school and played against Dwight Howard. Like, I haven't seen a high schooler built like that. He's kind of like Jalen Carey, that he comes from NFL stock, which is why I don't know how he translates to the NBA. But that dude is a physical specimen, man. That's a big boy, especially for a freshman. He's impressive. All right, I was trying to soak up some time while you were researching there, Hammer.
Yeah, it's good.
That's all I got for you, though.
For the season, Felix is averaging about 6.5 a game.
Mhm.
Had 10 against Iowa State, had 8 against Virginia, only had 5 against Miami of Ohio, but our shooting percentage was pretty good in that one. Then he had 6 against Peabody and 7 against Baby Pearl. So that's his last 5 games.
Yeah, so that will be kind of hitting his peak, I would say. If you go at
So
7 would be like his top number.
Yeah.
Nate averaged 6.4. Felix averaged 6.3.
Where is Nate's rebounds then? Let's take a look at that.
Arizona stretching back out now.
What his projection is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're at 5.5.
Okay. You're right about Koa.
That seems like the safer play then, right? Are they baiting you there, Hammer?
Yeah, he's only had 4, 4, and 3. In the
Ankle injury, maybe ankle injury. He's not getting down there and banging like he had been previous.
Yeah, he had 11 against Peabody and 8 against Auburn. So he's definitely been trending since the ankle. So
yeah. I don't know about the Aaron Gordon comp though, Juice, because Koa is no Aaron Gordon-esque athlete. Like, don't forget how special of an athlete Aaron
that's
Gordon
true.
Yeah.
was and is. Aaron Gordon Koa is not that. And that's to me, that's my biggest concern for Koa Pete is he's kind of a tweener, right? In size, isn't he like 6'8"?
Yeah, I was just about to say, and I know you were talking him up. I do think he might struggle initially in the league because
I don't think he has a place in the league. I was talking him up just from a impressive to look at as a high schooler standpoint. I think he's perfect in the college game, but I don't think he's athletic enough for his height, and he doesn't have a perimeter game right now from a 3-point shooting standpoint. Where I don't know that he's in any lottery projections. So, he was one of the most highly touted freshmen coming into college, but he could probably serve to come back another year. Oh yeah. Just said I don't know if he'll go pro. He shouldn't.
Yeah.
He should stay in Tucson. Keep working on that shot. Prove that he has developed a 3-point shot. And then if he can still do what he can in the mid range and be strong and kind of bang, but show that he can shoot threes, then he might be working with something.
Yeah, and honestly, that hasn't really been super uncommon to have, a player of the year candidate not really fit the pro game.
Correct.
Like Oscar Tshiebwe, he's been bounced around the G League. Great college player, the way he can, but just unfortunately has limitations to keep him from the league. Edey, he won player of the year, right? His senior year, or he was definitely on the list.
Yes,
so.
He did.
But he was a four-year guy, and he's
Frank Kaminsky, Luka Garza, Tyler Hans. Tyler Hansbrough at least made a career for himself. Josh McRoberts, but you're not this most dominant guy ever, in college, and then it doesn't necessarily translate. Cole Pete has only shot 19 threes all year. So he knows that that's not part of his game. He's 6 for 19 this whole season. The difference for me with Cam Boozer is Cam Boozer can at least shoot threes.
Yep.
So he can at least stand on the perimeter. I know we've talked about him in the group chat, Juice. I think he's got a better chance than Koa right now, at least, because he's already developed that 3-point game. At least it's more developed than Koa's. But you're right. I'd like to see, and coming back can work for you. I mean, they work for Blake Griffin at least.
No, I think it certainly can. I mean, So 6 for 19, that's 30-ish%, right?
31. Yep.
Yeah. So like you work on that game and you shoot, I don't know, you double the shooting, the number you shoot, and you raise your percentage up to 35%. I don't think that's not doable, right? And now you become someone who can, plus another year of, he's already massive, for a freshman. Another year, work on the post game, work on a mid-range game, finding something that you're really, really great at, and then extending your game out to 3-point line. Come back, and you don't think the dudes in Arizona are going to pay him a bunch of money to come back? He's going to be just fine financially. So I don't know that he will, but it makes sense.
Yeah, he should. But either way, I'd like to see him be successful. He's like the pseudo hometown guy for me. Since my parents have been in Arizona for a while, they went there after I graduated high school in Tennessee, so they've been out there for a while. So he's like a pseudo hometown guy for me. So I'm rooting for him, but I don't think he's ready.
I just realized I went on the channel out here on the Heavy Pour X, and it's not, the post-it isn't even going out, and I can't share it. So everybody is mostly watching from the All UK Ball thing. I don't know what's going on with X, but if you can see it and repost, I'd appreciate it, because I can't even get it on there. It's not letting me share the dang thing. But golly, there's still 8. I was gonna try to ride this game out.
I know, man. Yeah, I just looked too. I'm like, geez.
Good Lord.
They have a halftime show? Like, what's going on?
Side note, I just saw who's calling the game. What do y'all think of the different guys? I have always liked Jim Jackson as a guy called. Actually, I liked him as a ball player too, but I've liked him calling games. I've always liked Grant Hill calling games. I've always liked Chris Webber calling games. I feel like they usually pick pretty good guys. What do y'all think of them?
I stopped caring when Gus Johnson stopped calling them.
Gus Johnson was electric.
Yeah,
he was.
I would listen to him call bum fights, man, the back alley or something. Like, the dude's just he's just so good.
Burries, boy.
Here's the thing. I really Braid Smith, what are you doing? Nice take. Yeah, Arizona's gonna win this ball game, up 11 now. Turner does basketball, both college and pro. Unfortunately, inside the NBA, went to ESPN, and it's still the same dude, so it's better. But their broadcast team and who's calling games, Turner does it 10x better than ESPN. Everybody that they have is so much better. They're not biased. You can actually listen to them without just hating the calls. The folks that ESPN has sucks. Jay Billis sucks. Jay Will sucks. Jimmy Dykes sucks. Like all of these big guys.
There will be no Jimmy Dykes slander.
No, we always say that because of how he feels about Tennessee. His daughter's all cheering out there. Yeah, but you knew once his daughter leaves, guess what? Unless these guys sucks back again for you guys.
I got you, Coach Dykes. It's okay.
Yeah,
Coach
Dykes. Yeah. We rock with
Coach
you.
Dykes hates Tennessee because he was an assistant there, and they kicked his tail out. And like, bro, you got to go out and do something else. You ain't no good. So he's got
I told you, Burries was my guy, man. Yeah, I like him.
Yeah,
but you're right.
Bradley's tough too for Arizona. Both those guards are tough.
Yeah. Now he had no business winning Big 12 Player of the Year. That was absurd. Arizona is too strong of a team to have a Player of the Year on their team. It's got to be AJ or Toppin, or right. Like, it can't be Peterson because he was too in and out. To me, like how's an a first team All-American and Toppin, like not your guy, or even probably not Fleming. To me, it's either Toppin or AJ. But yeah, so back to ESPN just takes for granted that they're ESPN, right? So they're like,
Yeah,
we're ESPN. We'll throw somebody out there who's got like a name.
and they've been doing that forever. It's like I don't, you know, I there used to be a place for it, and I don't necessarily, you know, dislike Kornheiser or Wilbon, but like PTI is dead. Like just let it go. Let it go. Like they just have some of these legacy shows in here or legacy people that just need to get, and they unfortunately ESPN will kick the good dudes off. You know, some of them, like the ones that respect, they just let go. You know, Max, for example, like I thought he was.
I haven't watched First Take since Stephen A. booted Max off.
Yeah. But they'll bring in, and again, but we got Cam Newton, you know, out there talking like every sport on I don't know. I don't get it at all. But yeah, ESPN takes for granted. You know, and I'm certainly biased towards this. The one thing ESPN does right is licensing the Pat McAfee show through ESPN. It's mostly internet-based show, but it airs on ESPN now, obviously. And I'm a big, you know, PMS fan. But most everything else, NFL Live still good. They still got a good crew on NFL Live, but their basketball content and the people that cover them inside the NBA, trash.
Yeah, letting go of Jalen Rose was a mistake. Getting rid of not Stan, Jeff Van Gundy and Mark Jackson was not the move. They were them with Mike Breen. That was an awesome A team. That was,
and it still has to come together. But NBA on Prime they got some talent on there and old like NBA legends, guys you actually want to listen, talk ball. So I think NBA on Prime is going to be the
and
next
Blake Griffin, man. Blake Griffin, and remember when he used to do the Kia commercials? He was awesome in those. So I'm not surprised that Blake Griffin is entertaining. That dude,
he is in the AT&T. He's like a Peyton Manning. Like we're just naturally funny. Yes. You know, they can do these commercials. They hilarious.
He's so good. I like, and I've always liked Blake. Right, he was a heck of a ball player, fun to watch, entertainer, and a competitor. Right, because he went and did the dunk contest, which we know other people run from. So yeah, I rock with Blake. I like that. I like that they brought him in. Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady have a podcast now, and I listened to Tracy McGrady on Carmelo's podcast, and he irritated me on that. I love T-Mac, the ball player.
Yeah,
did not like him as a guest on the podcast, and I haven't made it through their first episode yet, but I want to hear more Vince Carter and less T-Mac. I mean, and he's inside and wearing shades and all. Like I don't rock with that, so I don't need all that. Jeff Teague is 100%. Well, so Knuckleheads is my favorite podcast, but they haven't released anything in a long time. So yeah, Jeff Teague. Yeah. Jeff Teague's is really good. His clips, man. His
clips, yeah. I don't watch any of his actual shows, but the clips are hilarious.
Yes,
that's a good one.
Yeah, his is really good.
The Pivot has fallen off for me, to be quite honest. I don't know.
I haven't listened to the Pivot, and so I used to be on the Pivot heavy.
Yeah,
I don't. It got a little too preachy for me.
Yeah.
After a while, I liked All the Smoke quite a bit, and to their credit, they
that was Barnes, right?
That's Barnes and Steven Jackson. They've gotten so big. I mean, they just they bring in everybody from all over, but that ain't who I want to hear from. Like I want to hear from the NBA guys. Yeah. So I'm not on them as much, and I miss Knuckleheads though, man. Knuckleheads has always been my favorite.
That's the thing that I don't like. Like I love. We were bashing ESPN football, especially Monday Night Football. I love it. I like Troy Aikman, Joe Buck. And then I really like the Manning cast. Like I will, if the Manning cast is on, I want to watch that. Yeah, I turn it off though as soon as they bring on special guests. I don't want to hear Kevin Hart tell jokes during the football game.
Right.
I want to hear Manning talk football.
Break down football for me.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I want you to. Oh, I don't see that because Nope. And then they bring some special guest who's a super fan of the team. Like Bradley Cooper's an Eagles fan. I knew that already. I don't need to listen to him talk about it during the Manning cast. I want to listen to you talk ball. Bring me on some football. When they bring Belichick on, that's good stuff. But yeah, so I do think some of these bigger shows, they have the opportunity to bring on big guests because they're big. But it's not why I started listening to you in the first place. I want to listen to you talk ball.
And that's why I've always liked Knuckleheads. Knuckleheads, they've always brought on NBA or NBA guys or WNBA gals. Like that's like just hoopers. People and Knuckleheads is like my era. So they bring in a lot of people that I grew, Damon Stoudemire type people who I would love to hear. Jamal Mashburn was one of their first.
Yeah.
I love Mashburns. So getting to hear my era is always, and them and All the Smoke were like Kobe's last shows. Knuckleheads and All the Smoke. They both did Kobe, and obviously awesome episodes. But yeah, I don't know, man. There's not one that's like I've done Carmelo's for a while. He's got a couple episodes I like, but I'm not like locked in and I gotta hear Carmelo's show. Tony Allen has a good Out the Mud. Tony Allen and Zach Randolph have a show called Out the Mud. Theirs is pretty good. They are not radio guys. It's not extra polished or anything, but I like it. It's appropriately titled Out the Mud. Theirs is pretty good. And they're bringing in ball players, right? So I need to find a football one, I guess.
I didn't listen to it like full, but I enjoyed the clips of it, and I would they would always pop up on my timeline, and they have died obviously now that he's coaching, or at least I'm not watching it. But what is it? 3 in the Wing. What was the one with
Old Man in the 3?
Yeah. And then Kevin Nash and was on there a lot with
Steve Nash.
Steve Nash. What I say?
The game.
Did I say Kevin Nash?
Yeah,
the wrestler.
Yeah.
He's this idiot.
Yeah, Old Man in the 3 wasn't bad. JJ did a pretty good job.
JJ, yeah.
But I always want like just basketball talk, and JJ is just he's very well rounded. So he would talk about all the things. I'm like, nah, man, just tell me basketball stories and locker room stories and game stories and all that. JJ's like, what do you do when you wine taste, and how do you pick out a good watch, and like all this kind of stuff. Nah, man, talk about how we gonna defend this pick and roll or something. But his show is pretty decent too. If Arizona wins, this is gonna be one of the best days in a while. So there you go, Juice.
Making 2K.
Hey, send an energy drink my way, dog.
No, better yet, go right here. Scan that QR code and drop some of that money on some Heavy Pour Sports merch.
Yeah, there you go.
Get you some gear, man.
Get a shirt, bro.
They got Tennessee stuff on there too, man. Go ahead, go on with it.
Yeah, we got something for that 2K for you.
That's right.
Nah, that's cool, man. Congrats, bro. Hopefully Arizona holds on.
I'm looking forward to getting back to Virginia, man. Quantico, Virginia is a pro gambling state. Hammer, have you been there doing homework? Are you mapping out the bets right now? I see the notepad out.
Yeah.
He's like, Juice making 2K. I need to get on my game. And you showed me, what was it yesterday? You showed me your bet slip. You've been working. You worked over Prize Picks pretty good.
Yep.
And shameless plug, if you're not watching Hammer's show, I don't know the baseball show. Are you getting into gambling a lot, or are you just talking Tennessee baseball with Tiffany?
Yeah, it's pretty much. We do a little recap of SEC play over the weekend, and then pretty much just kind of dig into what's good, bad, and ugly with Tennessee stats. She's got this spreadsheet that last year she started just tracking home runs. And then now that joker has evolved into like full-blown statistical tracking. And so we have a lot of fun with that. So, yeah, I don't really – now Joshy Boy and I –
that's the West.
We've already done a season-long win totals and award show, and then we'll have a weekly MLB. And Ferris is going to have a little contribution in there as well.
I've seen it. I've seen it. It looks fancy dancy.
Not ready to pull the curtain off, but I did give Rando just a quick little screenshot sneak peek at what's going on.
I got a little flashy of it. I look nice.
And
nice.
Yeah, I can't wait to launch that, roll that out. So yeah, baseball season's MLB season is going to be a lot of fun.
Ooh.
Especially when the Yankees are 3-0 and in first place in the AL East. Just throw that out there.
Arizona just put a little exclamation point on.
Oh,
so
yeah, they did.
I don't know what this means. So I can't answer you. Y'all have some heavy poor Jimmies.
I got some heavy poor Jack.
The only thing that I can think of
Just
is
go to the site and go find something you like.
Yeah.
And if that's a Jimmy, then get you one.
Only thing I can think of is Gators bitches got to have Jimmys. That's the only thing I can think of from that movie. I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
I thought it may have auto-corrected jammies and it turned into Jimmys.
I was thinking jammies too.
Yeah,
maybe
we need the full pajamas with the feet and everything. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, Gary, we need some joggers. We got hoodies. You know, that'll match.
Let's get the ones with all our faces on there. Those are
awesome.
jammies with our faces plastered all over the place.
We could do that. Is the orange and white checkerboard, is that trademark for Tennessee? We can make some Tennessee checkermark PJ pants.
The Power T with the checkerboard inside, I believe is, but the checkerboard itself is not. That's fair game.
There we go. We'll have some blue and orange, not together but separate checkered jammies that we can wear.
Freaking juice, man.
Okay, so I was right. It was from that movie. It was from the Other Guys movie. I think what's it called? Other Guys, the Bad Guys, whatever it's called. With
yeah,
Mark
the
Wahlberg.
Other Guys. Pretty
The
sure
Other
that's
Guys,
the name of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah, get a Jimmy for your hammer.
Yeah. Oh, Hammer, you keep that thing concealed, buddy.
I'm loving seeing Purdue go down.
Yes, absolutely rolling in it because like Juice, I'm not going to make quite as much as he did, but I hammered Arizona in this one. I just didn't. I was a little nervous, I'm going to lie, but I just didn't see them.
I just hate Purdue.
Yeah, same. It was a rage bet, if nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, I just spent 3 years in West Lafayette, man. It's just
that was 3 years and a day too many.
Well, and I was there on recruiting when Carson Edwards and them finished us off. So yeah, I hate them.
Yeah, foul Ming. That was the
and then all that was the nonsense.
Nail in the coffin right there.
Make free throws.
Baseball is probably the toughest sport to bet on. I don't mess with batter props. I'll take totals and pitching props. That's really all I like to mess with.
So I don't watch baseball at all, but when I first started getting into sports gambling, it became legal when I was in Quantico, maybe that was the first place I lived when it was legal. I actually made a bunch of money, a couple $100 a week on betting first five in baseball.
Mm-hmm. I'm a big Nerfy guy. No run first inning bets.
Yeah. And they were like, hey, you look at the pitchers, who's lined up. After that, you don't really know how the closers are going to work out or who they're bringing in or whatever, what the arms are going to do that day. But the starters are pretty consistent. So, like, you got a guy who is at a 1 point something ERA coming up against a guy that's, over 4. You probably can lean on that 1 point guy in the first 5 type thing. And you're not going to hit them all, but you line up 5 or 6 that you liked. You take them all single. Then, of course, you got to parlay them all just in case they all hit. You got to play the lottery there. And, yeah, you come out there and, all you got to do is get over 50%. And that would work consistently. By the end of the week, you had some money to play with. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought sure the Pirates Mets with Skeens and was Peralta going would be hands down lock. And they scored 7 runs between them.
Yeah.
Skeens didn't even finish the inning. He got 2 guys out and gave up 5 earned runs, and they yanked him. I was just – what do you do? That was insane.
My counterpart in my office,
It wasn't Peralta. Who was it? It wasn't Peralta.
He's
It
a
was somebody
huge
else.
Pittsburgh. He's from Pittsburgh. He's a big Pirates fan and Penguins fan, all that. He came in all pissed off. He's like, Skeens is dead. We should have traded him when we needed. His arm's dead. I'm like, he's gonna be fine.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, his arm's just a little tired from the World Classic or whatever the hell it was, Baseball Classic.
Yeah, he just had a little. But see, I thought all the opposite would be true, though. He was stretched out fairly, fairly good. So I not my wildest dreams that I think that he would come out there and give up 5 runs in the whole game, much less in the first inning. That was insane. But that stuff happens. I mean, it's baseball.
It is true. It is baseball, and I can't even act like I know it. We're talking. So we got both our Final Four teams on the left side of the bracket. On the south and west side of the bracket, we got Illinois going. They'll play winner of Duke, UConn, and then Arizona going playing winner of Tennessee, Michigan. UConn has surprised me. I will close this thing out, but UConn has surprised me. I thought Michigan was going to give it to them, especially the way that they played against St. John's late in the season. I thought, Michigan was going to be a physical team. Not the same team as St. John's, but I really thought they were going to just lean on them. And UConn has stepped up to the plate every time. And I'm not a huge Dan Hurley fan, so I don't have a lot of hate for him, but I would have been okay with seeing Izzo go on and UConn losing.
Yeah, I had Michigan State advancing, so yeah, that kind of stung a little.
But look at that! Finally, I get a shout out. Appreciate it. It's been an all Tennessee show today, but I guess that's what happens when you effing lose in the first weekend. But we got a Wildcat team. We got a Wildcat team in the Final Four. I don't know what he's saying, but all right, y'all. Well, we'll wrap this thing up. If you hadn't noticed, I've told you the thing I hate most on the internet in response, because it means you don't actually have an argument, is 1, you don't know ball. So you just being a child. 2 is cope harder, right? Well, in full transparency, I've been in full cope mode today because I got my denim hat on from State Line Co., which was at the Tennessee-Kentucky game in Rupp, the denim game. I got my denim all-UK ball on because that's really one of the last great moments I've had of the season. Yeah, we beat Vandy and we smacked around after that. We got a couple SEC tournament wins. We got a tournament win against Santa Clara and always buzzer beater to Tennessee in the overtime. But this was really my last great moment. And while you are potentially going to a Final Four, I was at least trying to bring back the memory of our watch along and Colin Chandler hitting the 3 and sending y'all packing for a loss.
I've been unfazed by it, so
I know, and I would too if I were you. But I am not. I am rocking the denim because I am flashing back the memory of singing old Riley Green and how Tennessee sucks. And
first freshman with 20+ points in the Elite 8. Wow.
That's surprising.
I wouldn't have thought that.
I wouldn't have thought that either.
Carmelo
Not with some of the phenoms we've had come through, one and done phenoms. That's pretty amazing, actually.
But if I remember correctly, Jerry McNamara had a big game for Syracuse then. But he was a freshman too with Carmelo, so I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Making stuff up.
But, yeah, to counter that, Rando. I just thought of this, so I'm gonna see if we can get Ferris to whip up a no hope, only cope with Pope. See if he can whip that.
I don't want to see it
on a short sleeve T-shirt hoodie. That's his thing.
His jam. That is his jam.
Yeah.
You got that Bill Belichick. He said Bill's was cut off. He's making them natural that way.
Yeah.
Hey, I still have faith in Pope. I do. I think how he makes this roster, we'll see. He's getting his guy Keegan Brown back in. We're letting some guys go from the coaching staff. So we'll see who we get to replace them and who we're going to get from the portal player-wise, who coach-wise come in. But it's a big offseason. and he's going to have to rebound. One of the guys I do a show with on Sunday sometimes, Round of Shots, TB, he's got this stat that he's been leaning on since we hired Pope. Year 3 Kentucky head coach is throughout history since Rupp. Third year, win percentage is at like 70% or higher. You win SEC Coach of the Year. You get at least to Elite Eight. If you hit all those 3 things, you end up being a championship level coach at Kentucky. If you don't, then it's your Billy Gillispie or some of the few failures that we've hired at Kentucky as head coach. So Pope in year 3 currently sitting at a 60-some% win percentage. He's got to increase that significantly, which means you win a lot of games next year and you don't lose a lot. You stay under double-digit losses, which he has been able to do in his first 2 years, and you get at least to Elite Eight. So that's a big ask. But if history repeats itself and over the span of Kentucky basketball, hanging 8 banners, I would say that's a pretty decent, good sample size. Next year is a make or break year. And I, as much of a fan of Pope that I am, and I hope he's successful, if we have a year like this year, even if we have a year like he had year 1, which I was super high on, you probably have to look at replacing him. It is what it is. Sweet 16 next year is not going to be good enough, especially if you do it with 12 losses and we're playing on the last day we play in the SEC tournament is on a Friday. It's just the difference. That's the standard. I'm sorry. And I hope he gets there. I hope he's Elite 8 plus next year. But if he's not, then whoever's left over in the UNC potential Kansas coaching cycle, get him on the phone. But wrap this thing up. Again, I flashed it up there once. This is go to State Line Co. You can't get the denim. That was a pre-sale. That's sold out. But you can get the new Wildcat drop. And I haven't mentioned it like I should, but State Line is not just a Kentucky brand. They're Kentucky fans who, because their fandom, got Kentucky licensing for hats, but they are start off as a outdoor hunting, fishing company. So like the wax hats they have, things, if you're a duck hunter, if you're a fisherman, all those things, you can go buy gear from them. And again, they also have Kentucky, Tennessee, Louisville stuff on there. And then if you want to support our brand and Bluegrass Elite, Gary always hooking us up. My Oway, that's a bucket shirt, came in the day. So I'll be rocking that for tomorrow's show. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. It's a great shirt.
Keep going.
It's a great shirt.
Keep going.
I can't keep. You're laughing during my ad read or my ad improv. It's not really a read.
I will mute myself. I'm sorry.
It's either I either can't say the words and I have to start over. I got you laughing at me in the middle of it.
All right, I'm muting myself.
Trying to be a professional show here. Anyways,
I'm muting.
Go, Juice. Go spend your money. Your 2K you're getting ready to win at bluegrass-elite.com. You can get the heavy pour collection. If you don't want to get the heavy pour collection, they have they have really cool Tennessee gear on there that has no affiliation to us or Kentucky. They have Kentucky gear on there. It's a veteran-owned company, so they just have like cool bourbon military stuff on there as well. Use heavy pour 50% off, free shipping. They'll get that out to you. But it's been another good happy hour show. My drink was empty 30 minutes ago, so I need to go refresh this thing. And I'm home alone, man. I don't even know what to do. You got any show recommendations?
Dude, I'm just now watching Landman season 1. So
it's a great show, dude. Landman's great.
Paradise is good. Night Agent is good.
I've heard Paradise is good, but I don't know what it's on. What's it on?
I think it's on Hulu. Hold on.
I got Hulu.
Give me a sec. I got you. If you just want blood and guts, then Spartacus is good. Those are the 3 that I'm on. Reacher is good. The show, yeah.
Is it good?
I like it.
Reacher.
Paradise is on Hulu. So
This is uncalled for, Joshy boy. All right.
Joshy boy coming in with the facts late 11th hour facts. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Arkansas basketball highlights. Outstanding. From the
Hardball,
rafters.
get the hell out of here. Go take
I
that
love it.
30-point loss that you guys got.
Well done. Hardball.
Oh yeah, that was Hogball coming to the party late.
Yes.
You know what I will watch?
Throwing
I'll go watch the
daggers.
last game that y'all played and remember what it's like to lose in the tournament with the SEC Player of the Year and a number 2 overall draft pick. I'll remember that. And Hardball, if you haven't seen it, Cal to UNC. I'm telling you, man, y'all might want to get worried. Chicken Man better get him an extension.
Chicken Man ain't got Jordan money.
He ain't got Jordan money. And not for nothing. I mean, Chapel Hill's not like the new hotness, but it better than Fayetteville, Arkansas. All right, I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Yeah,
Raleigh Durham's pretty nice.
Yeah, that
I like
that research triangle is a bougie place. Let me tell you, I used to live in Raleigh, so there's a chance.
There is a chance.
It's not. I don't think it's very likely, but there's a
think so either,
chance because we all know Cal's ego and money. You better hope Billy Donovan accepts the job. Is all I can say.
Yeah. Hardball and I have gone back and forth. I have always said that Arkansas is a stepping stone to something else for Cal. I could see him ending his career there, but I just felt like that was his bridge to get out of Kentucky. He felt like he needed to get out of there. Kentucky fans wanted him gone, whether it was right or wrong. That's just kind of how it worked. Hardball is like, we got all the and he does. He's got all the things he needs NIL wise, and again, he's got the friendships and he's got the donors lined up. But Cal built his way to Kentucky. I don't think he wants to end himself at Arkansas. Like completely wrong there. But that's how I feel about it. And if UNC comes calling, he will pick up the phone. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, he'll take the call, and and respectfully, because you guys have won a national championship with Nolan Richardson, but respectfully, Arkansas has always been known as a football and track school. It's not a traditional.
He's of a track school, by the way.
Oh, no doubt, absolutely.
Especially
very dominant program for a very long time, but it's not it's not that traditional blue blood type program, and I think that's if one of those come calling, I think it's going to be hard for Cal to A, not take the call, and B, if they throw stupid money at him, which I feel like would be the case if it is UNC. How do you not entertain that?
Well, you're not calling Cal unless you're prepared to throw stupid money. Right?
That's exactly right, because that's what it's going to take.
Right.
And no,
How about real quick? What's Cal's contract right now for Arkansas? I don't know what it is, but here's
no idea either.
Kentucky. Yeah, but Hardball will know. We'll throw it in the chat. Kentucky was willing to throw Dan Hurley, now back-to-back championships in his prime right now, $11 million a year, right? I think Cal was making 8 or 9 his last years at Kentucky. Makes
That
almost
sounds
$11 million a year. Cal makes almost $11 million a year right now. So you got to match that. That is a lot. Okay, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
Yes.
If UNC calls him and gives him that $11 million a year right now, he leaves Arkansas. I'm sorry. I think he does. Because it's the ACC. He can beat up on the ACC at UNC. He's got one real team to deal with. Louisville is a flash in the pan all the time. Miami, maybe there'll be something special, but it's really consistently just Duke and hadn't even been UNC of late. So,
well, this
I
is
think
per the sporting news.
Okay, go ahead.
Cal is the second highest paid coach at $8 million a year, behind Bill Self at $8.8 million a year.
Wow.
And then Dan Hurley's third at 7.78.
So UNC comes with him with the $10 to $11 million a year offer. He's leaving. And here's the thing you don't have to worry about if you're Cal. And I'm right now I'm saying I don't think he leaves. I think there's a chance though. But if I think there's a greater chance he stays unless UNC misses on Billy or Billy says he doesn't want to come. And then I think you pivot to Cal right away.
I agree.
Cal, when he left Kentucky, he knew some folks were going to follow him. Boogie Flynn, all the recruits were going to follow him because these are guards that want to get to the league. But there were some ancillary pieces that didn't follow him because it not Kentucky. All right. At that point, the La Familia thing and what Cal had built at Kentucky and it being Kentucky meant something. He lost some of those things. Even some top recruits like JQ, Sobto Surreal went to Georgia. Like there were some pieces that he missed and didn't get to Arkansas. You leave Arkansas, go to UNC, you're not missing those pieces. Not only because you have money and I understand blue bloods aren't what they used to be, but it's still North Carolina, right? So all the top recruits that he has coming in right now, along with the folks, some of the folks that are on the team right now will fall to UNC and the portal. He has an advantage at UNC when it comes to building a roster, in my personal opinion. I don't know. I think I would put it at 70-30 right now. Him staying in Arkansas and leaving. If Billy says no, that thing goes over 50%.
Hammer, are you happy for Toby?
Yes, I am.
I can't help but like Toby, man. I always like him.
Yeah, I loved him when he was here, and I can't wish ill on that kid. He's a gamer, man.
I agree, and he got okey doked by Adu, right? I mean, it's not like he left because of ill will or anything.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
We'll point that at you, Adu. Sorry, self.
He wanted an opportunity exactly like he's got right now, which is not to say he couldn't have gotten that with us, to be determined. But I can't blame the kid, man. That's just like Cam Carr. I can't blame him. He basically got told, we don't have a spot on the floor for you. So,
Harbaugh, we're 1-1 against Cal. I'm not super concerned about having to play Cal every year. I'm really not. I do want Cal to stop coaching so I can actually him be my. I mean, he's my favorite coach. He's my favorite coach of all time because of what he did at Kentucky and in the prime of like the age that I can remember Kentucky basketball, like the Rick Pitino years. 6 to 8 when those were happening. And then Tubby Smith goes through and then the Gillespie, and there was just some bad times. Cal came in there, what he did, like he's my favorite coach, but I hate on him at Arkansas. I do. I don't root against him, but I ain't rooting for him. When he hangs it up, I can't wait for him to have his Rick Pitino moment and come back to Kentucky at some point. But I ain't worried about having to play against him. Yeah. All right, y'all. I was teasing it before, but let's really jump off of here. I will see y'all Wednesday. Big game tomorrow. It's a big one because I definitely know T's got some bookmarks, and I know there's a certain individual that he's coming after hard tomorrow. He's going to unmute if y'all get to a Final Four. I believe it too. I believe it to happen. He's going to unmute that some gun, and he's going to come up. Hammer's going to throw the ha-ha, and yaga, throw to you, and T's coming down with it.
I definitely got to unmute. Yeah,
and there's a lot of Kentucky fans that don't want to have to delete that banner that says no Final Four. So it's a big one for Rick Barnes in Tennessee, and you got a tall task. But we have spent the better part of 2 hours laying out the ways you can do it. So I'll be intently watching tomorrow. And I fully admit I'm not a good friend because I'm a Michigan fan tomorrow. Even after Yaxel threw Kentucky on the bus, making up some bullshit about him getting offered $7 to $9 million and him turning that down because he just wants to play good basketball. But it is what it is. Good luck to Tennessee tomorrow, and we'll come back here Wednesday and see how this thing plays out, solidifying the Final Four.
See how it goes. Go Big Orange.
I'm always last. I always go last.
Go Cats.
Joshy boy, be good.
Go Vols.
Peace. Play them.